Hey guys, I'm Kip, and the poem I chose to be talking about for our discussion post is Ode to My Socks. I chose this poem personally because I thought it stuck out a lot more to me than the other poems, and I thought it was really interesting about what he had to say about a pair of socks. And he used a bunch of figurative language in his poem. I thought it was very interesting about how he compared stuff and how he described his pair of socks in vivid language. So the first figurative language that he used was a simile. And the simile is two socks as soft as rabbits, which he's comparing his pair of socks to a rabbit's fur. And I would have never thought to compare those two things together. Another descriptive language that the poem used was a metaphor. And the metaphor is, violent socks my feet were two fish made of wool. And this metaphor, he's describing his feet to fish, as in how the socks made his feet feel. And he's basically saying how the socks made his feet feel a lot softer, and how soft that the socks made his feet feel. Another way he used to describe his socks, he says, two long sharks, sea blue, shot through, which he's telling us the color of his socks. His socks are blue, and maybe saying that his socks are long by two long sharks. If you go down a little further in the poem, he talks about how unique the socks are to him, and how he doesn't want to put them on and wear them. He just wants to store them in a frame and just look at them, admire how much he likes them. He says, nevertheless, I resisted the sharp temptation to save them somewhere, as schoolboys keep fireflies. He's comparing his socks to how people keep fireflies when they catch them, and they just store them. He also says how he resisted the mad impulse to put them into a golden cage and each day give them birdseed and pieces of pink lemon. This just piggybacks onto what he says about comparing the socks to fireflies, and how he just wants to keep them put away just to admire them. So one last descriptive language that is in the poem Ode to My Socks is, it says, like explorers in the jungle who hand over the very rare green deer to the spit and eat it with remorse. So basically, he's obviously comparing his socks. He's saying that his socks are very rare and comparing them to a green deer, which is very rare. He's saying that the hunter, when he kills the green deer, he's going to eat it with remorse. And basically he's saying that when he goes out in his socks, he's going to have some type of remorse about his socks being worn out in public or wherever he's going with his socks on. And at the end of the poem, he finally puts the socks on. He says, I stretched out my feet and pulled on the magnificent socks and then my shoes. So he finally put the socks on and went out in the socks as the socks were meant to be. So now for the object we are writing about. The object I chose to write about, I call it a binky, a blankie, and I pretty much had it basically my whole life, and it just brings me a lot of comfort and makes me happy. This is my binky. I would describe it as being very soft. It's an elephant. It's pink. It's very small, and it just really means a lot to me. It may not mean really anything to y'all, but wherever I go, if I stay the night with someone, it's always coming with me. I always sleep with it. It just is very special to me. And how would y'all describe my binky?